As Jacob walked out of the godly treasure palace, General Arthur sensed his sour mood and hurriedly followed him out and asked,
"My prince, where do you want to go next? Shall I take you to the godly elixir palace for a tour?"
Jacob did not want to dampen General Arthur's spirit. He gave it a thought and suggested, "Let's go to the ice palace that you mentioned earlier. Is it off limits?"
"No, it is not. However, it's quite cold there. You must activate your cultivation technique to keep warm,"
General Arthur said. "All right," said Jacob as he nodded and followed General Arthur. On the way to the ice palace, General Arthur said,
"Prince—"
"Call me Jacob. I'm uncomfortable being called a prince," Jacob interrupted him.
"I don't dare to cross the line, but if you insist, can I call you Master Jacob, please?"
General Arthur said after careful consideration. "All right," Jacob grumbled. It was much better than being called a prince.
"Master Jacob,"
General Arthur said cautiously. Seeing that Jacob was not displeased with the new title, he continued,
"I heard that the mortal world is now full of houses built with stones, and they are hundreds of meters tall. Is that true?"
Jacob was puzzled for a moment before it dawned on him that General Arthur was referring to the skyscrapers. He chuckled and replied, "Yeah, people live in the stone buildings now."
"And I heard that the mortals don't use carriages and horses anymore. Instead, they use iron and steel boxes that can move by themselves. Is that true?"
After some consideration, General Arthur asked again timidly. This time, Jacob couldn't help but let out a laugh. "Right. People are swallowed by the boxes, and they are spat out when they reach their destination." General Arthur raised his head and thought hard for a second.
"That must be some kind of demon beast that has a weak stomach," he murmured.
Jacob choked up with laughter. He was surprised at how disconnected he was from the outside world. He got to thinking further and realized that since the general handled various duties and daily business all day long in the Dragon Palace, and got all of his news from Elder Liam and Elder Frank, it was a pitiful life. Suddenly, a thought occurred to him, and he said, "If the Dragon King agrees, I will take you to the mortal world for a tour," Jacob said in a promising manner.
No, I have to attend to my duties here."
General Arthur brushed off Jacob's suggestion, but he was grateful to the young prince for the offer. On the way to the ice palace with General Arthur, Jacob thought for a while before asking, "General Arthur, was Sophie rebellious when she was little?" As the subject moved on to Sophie, General Arthur answered respectfully,
"The princess rarely comes to the Dragon Palace, and I don't see her often."
"Really?" Jacob found it strange. "Didn't Sophie grow up in the Dragon Palace?" he asked.
"The princess was born on land and was under the guidance of Elder Frank and Elder Liam. I don't have the honor of seeing her often."
"So Soph grew up in the mortal world? I guess Dracon kept her on land because he didn't want her to be uninformed about the world outside the palace like General Arthur." With this thought, Jacob asked again, "Did Susan grow up in the Dragon Palace?"
Master Jacob, do you mean Susan the Inspector?"
General Arthur confirmed if they were both talking about the same woman. Jacob nodded in affirmation, and Arthur started telling Jacob about Susan's childhood.
"An elder adopted her, taught her cultivation techniques, and nurtured her. She left the Dragon Palace when she was 15 years old."
He added,
"Susan is a cultivation genius, a rare capability which hasn't been seen in any dragon in the past 1,000 years. She has a rare metal water body type. Her cultivation progress was so fast that she became a very skilled cultivator when she was only 15. After leaving the Dragon Palace, she became an inspector and is now in charge of our entire territory."
"She doesn't come to the Dragon Palace often, does she?" Jacob asked.
"Technically speaking, she is not a member of our dragon clan, but she has the right to patrol the area as an inspector. However, due to her special relationship with our clan, she rarely interferes with our business and comes back occasionally to visit her master," General Arthur answered.
"Metal water body type. I wonder what body type I have. Jacob asked.
Master Jacob, you have a mortal body which is supposed to be a chaotic 5-element body type. However, you have been cultivating the spirit concentration scroll for a while, and the Princess Dragon Core is inside your body. It should gradually turn into a smooth water body type,
General Arthur explained to him patiently. In comparison to Susan, is my body type inferior? Jacob continued to ask.
Well, you are a mortal and thus have been born with a poor body type. However, you can't rush your cultivation.
General Arthur comforted him. Jacob agreed silently. Susan was born with a rare body type, and she had worked extremely hard to achieve her current status. As for me, I don't expect to be at the top. As long as I can save myself and protect the people close to me, I'll be content, he thought. As they walked, their conversation centered around cultivation. Although General Arthur's ideas about the mortal world were that of hundreds of years ago, he was a great cultivator. His patient explanations answered several questions Jacob had about the cultivation of the spirit concentration scroll.
Prince has quite a different personality compared to the princess. He is smart, curious, calm, and not reluctant to ask questions and learn, General Arthur thought to himself as he answered each of his questions in detail. They finally reached the doors to the Ice Palace. Truth be told, after the long walk and talking so intensely with General Arthur, Jacob had lost interest in the Ice Palace. However, he didn't want to disappoint his guide, and so he followed him inside. The Ice Palace, also known as the Ice Warehouse, was a world of ice and snow. It was quiet and cold inside. General Arthur, how come there are no maids here? Jacob asked. The maids serve the Dragon King, the Dragon Queen, and the Princess. Since they all live on land now, we don't need maids here. The only women here are from the families of the elders who live in the Dragon Palace,
General Arthur explained. Dry and windless, the Ice Palace was a bitterly cold place. Jacob circulated the nature essence in his body according to the spirit concentration scroll to keep warm, while he looked at the many natural treasures stored in huge ice blocks. Since he knew nothing about the natural treasures, he felt like a curious tourist. As he was walking through the Ice Palace, he spotted a set of beautiful ancient clothes for women stored in an ice block. He was about to pass by it when he sensed something unusual about it. He paused and looked again. This is... Mustering his courage, Jacob asked General Arthur.
She is an immortal maid sent from the above realm. It's said that she came down to the mortal world without permission and was discovered by an inspector. She was sent to the Ice Palace here for a 200-year imprisonment as a punishment, General Arthur said. While they were talking, a rustling sound came from behind the ice block near them. Who is it? Alarmed, Jacob, who had excellent hearing, asked immediately. A sad and timid-looking girl appeared from behind a huge ice block. She came in front of General Arthur and said, "Greetings, General Arthur." She looked delicate and charming, and was wearing a thin blue dress in this cold, snowy place. She is the younger sister of the Immortal Maid, imprisoned in the ice block. She has come to take care of her sister, General Arthur whispered in Jacob's ear. Jacob looked at her and then at the girl in the ice block and found that they looked identical. Hasn't it been more than 200 years? Jacob asked General Arthur. Isn't it time for her to be released? I suppose so, but since we haven't received any new messages about it from the above realm, she is still being imprisoned here, General Arthur answered. They were just two ordinary maids in the above realm. I guess no one recalls the 200-year punishment anymore, Jacob thought. Since she has finished her time, why don't you release her? Jacob suggested. Since the prince suggested it, I will send a message to the above realm in a couple of days. If they have no further instructions, I will release them, General Arthur said. Hearing General Arthur's words, the eyes of the girl, who was standing nearby,
lit up with immeasurable happiness. Jacob turned around and glanced at her. He didn't know what to say, so he turned towards the gate of the palace and suggested, "Well, I should head back now."
"I'll walk you to the Dragon King."
General Arthur followed him closely. "Is the above realm you mentioned the heavenly realm?" Jacob asked General Arthur as they walked out of the ice palace.
"The above realm refers to the cultivators living above the clouds. They are very powerful, but we at the Dragon Tribe have the numerical advantage. Overall, we are equal in terms of status. In ancient times, there were both heavenly and earthly immortals, but now all the earthly immortals have advanced to heavenly immortals, and thus left all the earthly business to the Dragon Tribe," General Arthur said. Jacob nodded and didn't follow that up with anything. When they returned to the main palace, Dracon had finished his backlog of work and was having tea. When Dracon saw Jacob and General Arthur return, he stood up and said, "Let's head back."
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.